I'm a tech founder who's spent a lifetime building a dream from nothing. Tonight I'm attending a special event, an intimate reception hosted by my brother's family, marking a major milestone in his career. Though our family ties have been strained, I hoped this would be an opportunity for things to change, but I never anticipated that a $30 million contract between my company and my soon-to-be brother-in-law's conglomerate would become the center of a dramatic confrontation when I discovered the seating arrangement they had made for me. What do you do when your own family treats you as if you're invisible? I'm about to show them exactly how visible I can be. Before I dive into the details of this story, tell me where you're watching from. Drop your location in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel for more stories about asserting yourself when it truly matters. Let me take you back to where it all began. Growing up in a quiet, idyllic New England town, my brother and I were actually very close as children. Only 2 years apart, we spent summers building forts in the backyard and winters sledding down hills. Our mother always packed identical lunches for both of us, and our father taught us both how to fish on the lake during our annual family vacations. Those early memories were warm, secure, and uncomplicated, but the shift began subtly as we entered high school. My brother joined the football team following in our father's footsteps. I, on the other hand, was drawn to computer science and the debate team. My parents always attended my brother's games, cheering loudly from the stands alongside our neighbors. As for my debate competitions and science fairs, they often had sudden engagements or arrived late, missing my presentations entirely. Business and sports build character, our father would often say, patting my brother on the back. All that computer stuff is just a hobby. You'll grow out of it. But I didn't. Instead, I earned a scholarship to MIT while my brother attended our father's alma mater on a partial athletic scholarship. During holiday family gatherings, conversations revolved around my brother's fraternity adventures and football statistics. My academic achievements were met with polite nods before someone changed the subject to something everyone could relate to. After graduation, I worked 80-hour weeks at a tech startup in Boston, learning everything I could about the industry. Meanwhile, my brother joined Concord Building, the family company my grandfather founded, and our father expanded. My brother was immediately given a management position despite only having a bachelor's degree in business with a mediocre GPA. It's about real-world experience, not just theories, my mother explained when I questioned the fairness during a rare Sunday dinner. He understands how the real world works. At 28, I took the biggest risk of my life. I cashed out my savings, took out a small business loan and founded Tech Solutions Dynamics. The first 2 years were brutal. I converted my one-bedroom apartment into office space, sleeping on a pull-out sofa in the living room. Ramen became both breakfast and dinner as I poured every penny into the business. When I called home during that period, the conversations were usually brief. "I worry about you, honey," my mother would say. "There's always a spot at your father's company if this doesn't work out." They never offered to invest, never asked about my business plan, seemingly never believing I could succeed on my own terms. Then the breakthrough came. Tech Solutions Dynamics developed a revolutionary supply chain management software that caught the attention of several major corporations. Suddenly I was hiring staff, moving into a real office, and getting calls back from investors who had previously ignored my emails. It was during this growth phase that my brother met his fiancé at a charity golf tournament. She was the only daughter of the conglomerate owner of Global Logistics Holdings, a multi-billion-dollar national commercial real estate development firm. Their courtship was swift and glamorous, filled with trips to the Maldives and weekend getaways to Paris. My parents were thrilled. "The conglomerate owner is very fond of him," my mother gushed during one of our monthly calls. "He's introducing him to all the right people. This connection could really take the family business to the next level." The irony was not lost on me. While my own business achievements were viewed as a quaint hobby, my brother's relationship was lauded as a strategic business move. 6 months into their relationship, my brother and his fiancée announced their engagement. Their families merged their social circles with my parents suddenly attending country club events and charity galas they had previously disdained. Meanwhile, through entirely separate channels, Global Logistics Holdings had been seeking a new tech solution for their increasingly complex supply chain issues. Their chief operating officer found tech solutions dynamics through an industry conference where I had presented our software. She had no idea of the family connection when she reached out. After 3 months of presentations, security audits and negotiations, Global Logistics Holdings signed a $30 million contract with Tech Solutions Dynamics. This was the biggest deal in my company's history, one that would allow us to expand internationally and develop new product lines. I mentioned the contract to my parents during our weekly call, hoping they might finally acknowledge my success. "That's nice, dear," my mother said. "Did you get your invitation to your brother and his fiancé's engagement party yet? It's at the conglomerate owner's estate. He has his own golf course there." 2 weeks later at the engagement party, I met the conglomerate owner for the first time. He was tall, impeccably dressed with silver hair, and had the confident bearing of a man accustomed to being the most powerful person in any room. "So you're the brilliant mind behind Tech Solutions Dynamics," he said, shaking my hand firmly. "Your team's presentation blew our tech department away. Our COO says your software will save us millions in the first year alone." "Thank you, sir. We're very excited about this partnership. Please call me by my first name, and we must arrange a proper dinner soon. I'd love to hear more about how you see technology evolving in our industry." Before I could respond, my mother appeared beside me, her eyes wide with surprise. "You two have met?" she asked, looking between us. "Just now," I replied. "He was kind enough to compliment our software." "Your software?" The conglomerate owner raised an eyebrow. "Wait, Ms. Powell, are you his sister?" He never mentioned his sister ran Tech Solutions. Dynamics. An uncomfortable silence stretched. My mother laughed nervously. "Oh, she was always our little computer whiz," she said, as if explaining an odd childhood hobby. "He was more focused on building like our father." The conglomerate owner looked confused, but quickly regained his composure. "What a coincidence! It seems like genetic brilliance in the family, just different directions." This wasn't a coincidence that my brother had never mentioned my company to his future father-in-law. It was a deliberate omission. My success didn't fit the narrative my brother had created for himself as the family's achiever. Despite these revelations, I held on to hope that this reception could be a turning point. Perhaps the undeniable proof of my success through the conglomerate owner's contract would finally earn me the respect I had worked so hard to achieve. I spent weeks selecting the perfect outfit, a sophisticated navy blue gown that exuded both elegance and power. I even arranged for my partner, a well-regarded venture capitalist I'd been dating for 3 months, to accompany me. "Are you sure you want me there?" my partner asked over dinner a week before the party. "From what you've told me about your family dynamic, it sounds intense." "That's precisely why I want you there," I admitted. "Having someone who sees me for who I really am will help me keep perspective." The night before the party, I called my brother, wanting to connect ahead of the event's chaos. "Hey, just wanted to say I'm really happy for you," I said when he answered, "and I'm looking forward to tomorrow." "Thanks, sis," he replied, sounding distracted. "It's crazy here. My fiancé keeps calling the event planner, and her father keeps adding people to the guest list. Can I help with anything?" "No, we've got it." A pause. "Listen, about the seating." "Yes? Nothing. Just that we had to make last-minute changes with all the additions, but it's all good now. See you tomorrow." "Okay." As I hung up, a slight unease settled over me, but I dismissed it. Tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow, finally, I would be seen. The conglomerate owner's estate sprawled over 30 acres with manicured gardens and distant views of the Long Island Sound. Cars lined the winding driveway, a mix of luxury vehicles, probably more expensive than most people's homes. My partner let out a low whistle as we drove up in my Tesla. "You didn't say it was going to be this grand," he said, adjusting his tie. "I didn't know either," I admitted. "This is my first time at the estate too." A valet in a crisp uniform opened my car door with a professional smile. "Welcome to the family reception, madam." The main house was a Georgian-style mansion with symmetrical columns and wings stretching out on either side. A jazz band played softly near an elaborate fountain where guests in formal attire chatted, champagne flutes in hand. White roses and orchids adorned every surface, their delicate scent mingling with the salty air from the nearby sound. "My name—" My mother's voice boomed across the garden. She advanced in the pale pink gown she had mentioned, buying specifically for the occasion in 3 different phone calls. "You're here? And who is this?" "Mum, this is my partner. This is my mother, Mrs. Powell." My partner extended his hand with a warm smile. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Powell. You have a lovely family." "Thank you," she replied, her eyes quickly assessing him before turning back to me. "My name your father's at the bar with the conglomerate owner and some investors. You should go say hello." She didn't wait for a response before turning her back and expecting us to follow. "She seems nice," my partner whispered, his voice lightly teasing. "Just wait," I murmured back. My father stood in a circle of men in dark suits, all roaring with laughter at something the conglomerate owner had just said. When he saw me, his smile faltered for a moment before quickly returning. "Here's my girl," he said, giving me a quick, one-armed hug. "And who is this young man?" After reintroducing my partner, I turned to the conglomerate owner, who greeted me with considerably more warmth than my father. "My name, the woman of the hour. I was just telling these gentlemen how your software is revolutionizing our operations. Only 3 months in and we're already seeing results." The men in the circle looked at me with new interest. "You're the brains behind the tech solutions system?" an older man with a southern accent asked. "He hasn't stopped talking about it. Says it's saving him a fortune on logistics alone." Before I could answer, my father cleared his throat. "Oh, she was always good with computers. My brother was the one who introduced her to the conglomerate owner. Didn't you know? Always looking out for his little sister." The lie hung in the air between us. The conglomerate owner's eyebrow twitched slightly, but he said nothing to contradict my father. "Actually," I began, but was cut off by the appearance of the bride herself. The bride glided towards us in a cloud of designer white silk, her blonde hair elaborately styled with tiny diamond clips catching the light. "My name, you made it," she trilled, air-kissing my cheek. "And in Navy, how practical." Her eyes skimmed over my carefully chosen gown with an almost mocking smile. "Though I thought I told the family we'd be in pastels for the photos." "You actually didn't," I replied calmly. "But congratulations, bride. Everything looks beautiful, doesn't it?" "Father spared no expense," she beamed, linking her arm through the conglomerate owners. "My brother's getting ready with the groomsmen. The ceremony starts in 30 minutes. Her eyes lingered on my partner with sudden interest. "And who might this be?" After introductions, the bride's demeanor visibly warmed. "Michael Vance of Horizon Ventures. My father has mentioned your firm before. You simply must sit at the family table during the reception." My partner's hand found my waist. "Thank you, but I'll be with her." "Oh, of course." The bride's smile stiffened. "By the way, you should double-check with the event planner about the final seating. So many last-minute changes." As she floated away, my partner leaned closer to my ear. Am I imagining things, or did the temperature just drop 20 degrees? The ceremony was rather elaborate, but lacked personal touches with a famous symphony orchestra, a celebrity officiant, and vows that sounded like they were written by a public relations expert. My brother looked handsome but nervous in his tuxedo, his eyes rarely meeting his bride's throughout the vows. Afterward, Guests were directed to a massive tent erected on the lawn for the reception. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a warm glow over dozens of round tables covered in white tablecloths and adorned with towering floral arrangements. "Let's find our seats," I suggested to my partner, scanning the room for a seating chart. A stern-looking wedding planner with a tablet stood near the entrance directing guests. When I gave my name, she frowned and scrolled through her list several times. Powell, that's odd. Let me check another list." A knot of dread tightened in my stomach as she continued her search. "Here it is. The founder and a guest. You're in section O." Her professional mask slipped for a moment, revealing annoyance. "Is there a problem?" my partner asked. No problem. Please wait here." She hurried away, disappearing into the crowd. 5 uncomfortable minutes later, she returned with an older woman who introduced herself as the catering manager. "Miss Powell, it appears there was an oversight in the seating arrangements," she explained in a low voice. "The main reception tables are all fully occupied. I RSVP'd 2 months ago," I countered. "And I'm the groom's sister." The catering manager nodded apologetically. "Yes, we understand. We've arranged alternative seating for you and your guest." "Alternative seating," my partner echoed. "If you'll kindly follow me." Instead of leading us to any of the tables in the main reception area, she led us through a side door and down a hallway. The sounds of the celebration grew fainter with each step. Finally, she opened a door to reveal the kitchen where staff in black and white uniforms bustled about preparing food. In the corner was a small table with 2 chairs hastily covered with a white tablecloth. "You cannot be serious," I said, my face burning. "I'm truly sorry for the inconvenience," the manager replied, unable to meet my gaze. "The bride made some last-minute changes to accommodate important business partners." "I am a business partner," I pointed out. "Global Logistics Holdings just signed a $30 million contract with my company." The manager looked genuinely perplexed. I wasn't informed of that. I'm just following the instructions I was given." Before she could say more, the bride appeared in the doorway, champagne flute in hand. Her eyes gleamed with poorly concealed satisfaction as she surveyed the scene. "Is there a problem here?" she asked, her voice saccharine. "Yes, there is," I retorted, trying to keep my voice steady. "You've seated my guest and me in the kitchen. I am your husband's sister." The bride slowly took a sip of champagne before replying. "We had to prioritize. The conglomerate owner's business partners and our closest friends needed the premium tables. I'm sure you understand." "Actually, I don't understand," I countered. "And I think my brother will be upset to know you've relegated his sister to the kitchen." Something cold flashed in the bride's eyes. "He approved the seating chart this morning. He knows exactly where everyone is seated." The feeling of betrayal landed like a physical blow. My own brother had agreed to this humiliation. "This is completely unacceptable," my partner said flatly. "We will be joining the main reception." The bride's perfect mask slipped for a moment, revealing the contempt beneath. "Help belongs in the kitchen," she sneered, making a dismissive gesture with her hand. "You should feel right at home, given your humble beginnings." The catering manager looked horrified, backing away from the confrontation. Several kitchen staff stopped their work awkwardly, pretending not to listen. In that moment, something inside me shattered. Decades of being overlooked, dismissed, and now publicly disrespected came into perfect focus. I wouldn't make a scene. I wouldn't stoop to the bride's level, but I wouldn't accept being treated as less than anymore. "Partner," I said softly, I need a moment alone. Would you mind waiting for me outside?" He squeezed my hand knowingly. "Take all the time you need. I'll be right outside." After they left, I stood alone in the bustling kitchen, invisible to my own family, yet responsible for a multi-million-dollar contract that would benefit the very people who couldn't be bothered to make room for me at their table. I knew exactly what I needed to do. The ladies' restroom in the main hall was empty, thankfully. I locked myself in a stall, leaned against the door and finally let the tears of humiliation fall. I covered my mouth to muffle my sobs, not wanting anyone who might enter to hear my breakdown. How could I have deluded myself into believing this wedding would be different, that my success would finally earn me a place within my own family? The pattern was so clear now, stretching back through the years like a map of neglect and favoritism. I remembered my 16th birthday when my parents forgot because my brother had a regional football championship that same weekend. They hastily bought a grocery store cake. 3 days later, the candles sinking into the melting frosting as they explained how proud they were of his performance. Then there was my college graduation from MIT with summa cum laude honors. My parents arrived an hour late, missing my valedictorian speech because my brother's fraternity had an alumni breakfast they couldn't miss. They brought him to my graduation party where he monopolized the conversation with stories of his summer internship at a friend's dad's company. And the day I signed the lease for Tech Solutions Dynamics' first office, I called home bursting with pride, only to be told they couldn't talk long because they were hosting a BBQ to celebrate my brother's promotion to vice president at Concord Building, a title created especially for him. Even today, on a day that should have been one of the happiest for a family, I was relegated to the shadows, deemed unworthy of sitting with the important people despite my own significant achievements. A gentle knock on the restroom door startled me from my reverie. "It's your partner. Are you okay?" I wiped my eyes, took a deep breath and opened the door. He stood there, his face etched with concern, holding 2 champagne flutes. "I thought you might need this," he said, handing me a glass. I accepted it gratefully, taking a long sip. "I'm sorry you had to witness this family dysfunction." He leaned against the wall beside me. "Don't apologize, or if anything, I'm getting a very clear picture of what you've been dealing with your whole life. And yet, you still show up, still hoping for something you're not sure what it is." Acceptance, recognition, the basic respect any person deserves from their family, my partner gently suggested. Those aren't unreasonable things to want. I sipped my champagne, pondering his words. The thing is, I didn't actually need their approval anymore. I had built Tech Solutions Dynamics without their support. I had a team who respected me, clients who valued what I created, and a partner who saw me for who I truly was. I glanced at him. "I have you." "Of course," he confirmed with a warm smile. "So what do you want to do? We can leave right now, go have dinner somewhere else, maybe catch a movie, pretend this whole wedding fiasco never happened." My phone vibrated in my clutch. I pulled it out and saw the COO from Global Logistics Holdings name on the screen. "I should take this, sir," I said, straightening up. "It's the COO from Global Logistics Holdings." My partner nodded and stepped back to give me privacy. "Everything okay?" "Everything's fine, CEO. Just wanted to confirm our meeting next week for Phase 2 implementation and to let you know the first payment for the contract processed this morning. $30 million right on schedule." As the COO continued to discuss technical details, a realization dawned on me. I wasn't the powerless one here. I had built something valuable, something even the conglomerate owner couldn't ignore. And while I couldn't change how my family saw me, I could change how I reacted to their treatment. "CO, can I call you back in about 20 minutes? I'm actually at the family reception right now." "Oh, I didn't realize you were attending." "Of course, congratulations on the ceremony. We can talk Monday." After hanging up, I turned to find my partner looking at me with curiosity. "What are you thinking?" he asked, sensing the shift in my demeanor. "I'm thinking I've spent my whole life hoping my family would recognize my worth." I replied, surprised at how calm I felt. "But perhaps it's time I recognized my own worth and acted accordingly." "What does that mean?" I smoothed down my dress and checked my reflection, wiping away the last traces of tears. "It means I'm not going to hide in the kitchen as if I'm ashamed of who I am. It means I'm going to walk back into that reception with my head held high and it means I'm going to make a business decision based on how I've been treated, not out of family obligation." My partner's eyes widened slightly as he understood. The contract. Exactly. The conglomerate owner wants the benefits of my company's software, but his daughter and my brother think I only deserve to sit with the kitchen staff. That's not a business relationship I care to maintain. Are you sure about this? That's a $30 million contract. I took a deep breath, calculating exactly what this would mean for Tech Solutions Dynamics. Yes, the contract was significant, but it wasn't our only major client. We had diversified well over the past 2 years. Losing it would hurt, but it wouldn't ruin us, and the message it would send was worth far more than the money. "I've never been more sure," I replied. "I deserve to be treated better than this, both personally and professionally, and it's time everyone understood that." My partner smiled slowly. "Then I'm with you, whatever you decide to do." We walked back towards the reception together, my mind clear and my purpose defined. For the first time that day, I felt at peace. Not because I was about to exact revenge, but because I had finally valued myself enough to set boundaries, even with family. Just outside the reception tent, I paused, looking through the opening to see my brother and his bride moving from table to table, greeting guests. They stopped at the main table, where the conglomerate owner sat with several distinguished-looking men in expensive suits, all laughing and raising toasts. "That's where I should be sitting," I said softly. "Not because I'm my brother's sister, but because I'm the CEO of a company that Global Logistics Holdings desperately needs." "Then let's make sure they understand exactly who they decided to seat in the kitchen," my partner replied, offering me his arm. With my head held high and my decision made, I walked back into the reception, no longer seeking approval, but ready to command the respect I had earned. The reception was in full swing as my partner and I entered the tent. A jazz band played from a raised dais while servers circulated with trays of hors d'oeuvres and champagne. Crystal and silver gleamed under the chandeliers, and the buzz of conversation mingled with laughter. No one seemed to notice our return, which was fitting since they had tried to make me invisible in the first place. I scanned the room until I spotted what I was looking for: the main table where the conglomerate owner sat with my brother and his bride, along with several key business partners. "They're discussing a merger," my partner murmured, following my gaze. I recognized a prominent property developer from Sterling Development. If they brought him in, the conglomerate owner was definitely planning a major expansion. That explained why important business partners were prioritized over family. The conglomerate owner was turning his daughter's wedding into a business opportunity, and my brother was cooperating, perhaps hoping to benefit from the connections. "Perfect timing," I replied, adjusting my shoulders. "Shall we?" We walked across the room, pausing occasionally as guests I didn't know congratulated me on my brother's beautiful wedding. Each time, I politely thanked them before continuing my path toward the main table. As we drew closer, I could hear the conglomerate owner mid-introduction, combining our resources with Concord Building for the residential components while Global Logistics maintains its focus on commercial properties. He here will oversee the transition. With the new software system we've implemented, we anticipate at least a 20% increase in efficiency in the first year alone. My brother nodded eagerly, clearly pleased to be introduced as a key player in this business discussion. His bride sat beside him, one hand possessively draped over his arm as she surveyed the room with the satisfied air of someone who had everything arranged exactly as she wished. But they didn't notice me until I stood directly at the table. The conglomerate owner saw me first, his expression shifting from surprise to annoyance. "My name?" he said, straightening in his chair. "We were just discussing business, a few things about software implementation that might interest you." "Yes, I heard," I replied calmly. "You were discussing the software my company created, the software your COO specifically sought out because it's the best in the industry." My brother's smile vanished as he looked between the conglomerate owner and me. "My name, perhaps we can talk about this later. We're in the middle of something here." A hush fell over the immediate area. The businessmen at the table exchanged uneasy glances. "There was a seating misunderstanding," the bride interjected, her voice strained. "These things happen at large events." "Indeed," I continued. "Funny how that misunderstanding led to the CEO of a company you just paid $30 million to being seated with the kitchen staff, while potential business partners received preferential treatment." The conglomerate owner's face darkened. "$30 million? What are you talking about?" "My name. Your company signed a contract with Tech Solutions Dynamics 3 months ago. I am the founder and CEO of Tech Solutions. The software you were just bragging about, that's my creation." The conglomerate owner's face registered true shock as he turned to my brother. "You never mentioned your sister was behind Tech Solutions." My brother squirmed. "It didn't seem relevant at the time." "Not relevant?" I repeated. You don't think it's relevant that your sister's company is providing the technology your future father-in-law is investing millions in?" "This is not the time for this discussion," the bride hissed, her perfect composure crumbling. "You're ruining our wedding." I reached for my phone, my movements deliberate and calm. "You're right. This isn't a discussion. This is a business decision." I dialed a number from my contacts and put the phone to my ear, maintaining eye contact with my brother as it rang. "Legal contact, it's the founder," I said clearly, loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. "I need you to terminate the $30 million contract with Global Logistics Holdings, effective immediately." My brother's face went ashen, his mouth agape, with no words. The conglomerate owner half rose from his seat, his expression a mixture of confusion and rising anger. "My name, what are you doing?" he demanded. I held up a finger, continuing my conversation. "Yes, I understand the implications. No, this is not a negotiation tactic. Please have legal prepare the termination papers for immediate signing. I'll be in Monday morning to sign everything." The bride's calm completely shattered. "You can't do that. My father just implemented your system across all our properties." I ended the call and dropped my phone into my clutch. "I can, and I have. Tech Solutions Dynamics does not partner with companies that demonstrate such a lack of judgment and basic professional courtesy." "This is preposterous," the conglomerate owner muttered. "You're cancelling a multi-million-dollar contract over a seating arrangement." "No, sir, I'm cancelling it because this seating arrangement revealed the underlying nature of your organization. If this is how you treat a CEO when you think she's just someone's sister, I have serious concerns about how you would honor our partnership when bigger issues arise." The business partners at the table were watching with intense interest, clearly re-evaluating both me and the family alliance. "Brother," the conglomerate owner turned to my brother, his voice dangerously low. "Did you know about this, about who your sister is in relation to our company?" My brother swallowed hard. "I knew she had a tech company. I didn't realize it was the same one you were working with." "That's a lie," I said softly. "The COO mentioned our family connection to you 3 weeks ago when she found out. She told me she spoke to you directly." My brother's face confirmed the truth before he could utter another denial. The conglomerate owner's expression hardened as he realized he had been deliberately kept in the dark. "We need to discuss this now." The conglomerate owner stood abruptly, grabbing my brother's arm, looking for a private place. The bride also rose, her face flushed with anger. "You're ruining everything," she hissed at me. "This reception cost over $2 million and you're turning it into a business dispute. Not me. You ruined it when you decided I wasn't good enough to sit with my own family." I remained calm, refusing to engage in her emotional outburst. I had simply decided that I would no longer accept that kind of treatment. As the conglomerate owner led my brother away, with the bride trailing close behind, my partner placed his hand on my waist. "Now that," he said softly, "was the most professional mic drop I've ever witnessed." For the first time that day, a genuine smile touched my lips. "Let's go," I whispered. My partner smiled, and we walked out of the reception together. I felt a tremendous sense of relief, not because I had gotten revenge, but because I had finally dared to stand up for my own worth. After that night, everything changed. My relationship with my brother and my family remained strained, but I had learned to accept that. More importantly, I had reclaimed my own self-respect. The incident at the reception quickly spread through business circles. I received many new partnership offers from those who admired my resolve and integrity. I also started a special mentorship program called Shine Your Own Way for women entrepreneurs facing similar struggles in asserting themselves and confronting biases. The conglomerate owner, though initially furious, later reached out. He admitted that my actions, though financially costly, demonstrated a strong ethical principle he respected. While the $30 million contract was lost, Tech Solutions Dynamics continued to thrive, expanding into international markets with partners who shared our values and mutual respect. My story is not about revenge. It's about finding your own voice, about setting boundaries, and understanding that your worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. It's about daring to step out of the shadows even when the people closest to you are unwilling to see your light. Remember, you deserve respect, and sometimes asserting that decisively is the most powerful action you can take.